Hey everybody, it's Jason with the Boardgame Mechanics, and today we're going to take a look at a deck building game called Transcendent. Transcendent is a game published by Flying L Games, designed by Ethan Lightfoot. Plays 2 to 4 players and wants to say 25 to 45 minutes. It's probably pretty fast. I've only played it at 2 and it goes pretty quick. I would still say it's probably going to be longer than 45 minutes. If you play with more than 2, it's going to take probably about an hour. And essentially what you're doing in this game is, let's read the flavor text, because you know I'm all about theme. The scientific revolution, a shift in thought from an entity processing archetypal qualities to descriptive observational measurement through the rigors of the scientific method. That is a lot of big words in one paragraph. To best describe the universe around us, we must vacate the ideology that knowledge is held by a chosen few and instead demonstrate our findings to the masses. How else does one become a god amongst men? You are a rival, set out to complete a hidden objective. To win, you must outsmart and outmaneuver those that would claim divine knowledge for themselves. Do you prefer the path of the alchemist, a purveyor of old age truths, or the scientist implementing the latest technology to accomplish your goals? Choose to ally yourself with your competitors or use sabotage to bring them to their knees. The choice is yours in the quest to become transcendent. Dun dun dun. That's the theme. Effectively what you're doing in this is you're taking on the role of a person, a scientist, a rival, that's what the book calls them, and they're going to have some special abilities, and you're trying to merge different types of elements within your being, your life force, to become the most powerful, to accomplish some goals that you have in front of you. And the way that works is a deck builder. You're going to be using some crappy cards to get better cards that are going to help you make that goal a reality. It's a deck builder, but it's a little different. So let's go down the table and just see how different it is.
Come on, play the game.
All right, so here's a game of Transcendent, all set up for 2 players. To set up, you're going to give each player a character. There's going to have some art. I'm just covering it up because to save some room, but different characters if you care about that. And they have cool names, and they're going to have special abilities. That's the important part. And they're each going to have a starting position of their dice, which I have already set up. So we've done that. I have some extra dice here just as trackers, so I just want to keep those because we're going to have to track some stuff. Then each player is going to get one of each of the elements, so they'll have water, air, fire, and earth. If you're playing the advanced game, you'll get 2 leg up cards, an outbid card, and 3 acquire cards. So you're going to have all players are going to have the same starting deck. Then you're going to shuffle, and you're going to draw 5 cards. All right, so that's the player setup. I haven't done it for that player yet, but that's where we are. Then off in the center of the table, we're going to have the market. We're going to shuffle it. We're going to flip 5 cards. We're going to have the always available sabotage and advantage. I mean, they'll run out eventually, but you'll have those available there. You're going to have the, what are these called? The achievements here. You're always going to have the Philosopher's Stone. And then you're going to have 4 additional, have the deck here. And then you're going to have the 4 stacks of element cards. We have perennial earth, recurrent water, eternal fire, and subsisting air. All right, and we'll have a fate die that we may be using later. Each player will also get 2 gold cards. That's going to be the in-game trigger. When someone completes one of their gold cards, the end of the game happens. Everyone's going to get an equal amount of turns, and then if multiple people complete it, we'll see who has the most aether, and then all the rest of the items going down to find a winner. I'm going to keep these off. I might keep mine over to the side here, just so you can see them a little bit. But they're going to have some too. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to replace a total of 25 cards in the market. So I'm going to use these dice as a counter to make sure that I'm doing that and merge 2 achievements. These are the achievements. Or I'm trying to acquire exactly 8 unique cards if playing the light version. I'm not playing the light version. Acquire exactly 10 unique cards. So I need to do 10 unique cards and merge 2 of these. I need to complete 1 of these cards. All right. And then we're ready to play. So on your turn, you have this nice little sheet here. You're going to be doing your turn in phases. The first thing you're going to do is the research phase, and that's going to let you increase one of your non-AEther resources. So we have fire, earth, wind, and water. I believe that's the icons, and this is Aether. This is basically your life force, all right? And as you're upgrading, you're going to just rotate the die so you know what you have. So the first thing you're going to do on your turn is add 1 to a non-AEther resource, unless you have a special ability that changes that. So I'm going to upgrade, well, let's look at my hand. I'm going to upgrade fire. So I'm going to put the 2 of the fire up at the top here. So now I have 2 fire. Then what you're going to do is you have 2 points of labor points. So that's what this die is going to be used for. These dice are tracking my goals. So I have 2 points of labor, all right? That's going to let me do any of these items. Starting cards that I have in my hand, all the graybacks, you can play those without using labor. So those are not going to cost me labor. But labor points, I can play a market card out. These are basically permanents that will be out until something makes them go away. You can refill the market, so I can sweep them all and flip 5 new ones for 1 labor point. I can increase a non-AEther, so water, earth, water, wind, earth, fire. I can increase those by 1 for 1 labor. I can merge an element. The way that works is once I get the die to its highest value, I can take it off the board, all right? And then I can take the appropriate element. So if I did that with red, I would take the element. Then I get this bonus here. I get to draw 2 cards and gain a labor point. That takes a labor point to do all that. And then you're going to be using these cards along with possibly Aether points to merge into an achievement. All right? Or you can acquire a card from the market. You can buy a card from the market. You see this one has to use land. This one has to use wind. This one can be 3 or 1 of any resource. And if it's in a circle, that means you can use whatever to pay for it. So you're going to have to use your resources to pay for this stuff. Now, also, when you merge into an achievement, there's some stuff that we're going to have to do. And when we do that, I'll make sure that I walk through that section of the rulebook. And that's effectively what's going to happen. So just like a normal deck builder, if you've ever played a deck builder, you're going to play all the cards in your hand. Whether you play them or not, you're going to discard them all. So the first thing I'm going to do is no labor to play a starting card. I'm going to increase my air by 1. So now I'm up at 3. Then I'm going to increase my water by 1. Now I'm at 5. All right. And then I have these additional 3 cards. I have a leg up that will let me acquire an advantage or a sabotage. And I think I want to start with advantage just because that's the way it goes. So those go in the discard pile. I have another leg up that I could play, and I'll take a sabotage as well. Protect myself. They'll let me protect myself from other players or keep them from playing some cards. And then I have an acquirer. The next card from the market costs 1 less to acquire. So I have 2 labor points that I can use. I haven't done anything yet. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to increase my fire here to 3. Get the 3. And then that's 1. So I'm going to click this down to 1. And then the next action, I'm going to buy a card, I think. And I'm going to buy, I think I want to buy the book. And it takes 3 of whatever. So I'll spend 2 of these and 1 of these. And now that's it. That's done. This card goes over into my discard pile, and this refills. Those are my 2 actions. All right. So then everything that I played this round, except cards from the market, so any cards that I bought and played that come out, they stay out, but everything else gets discarded. Then I will draw back up to 5, and I'm ready to go for my next turn. All right, now this player is going to shuffle. They have their own goals. We're not going to look at their goals. We'll follow along with my goals. Probably won't complete any goals because that takes a minute. I'm just going to show you how the game works a little bit. Okay, so there's that. I have similar hand. I got earth, air, acquire, and leg up. Now, their special ability happens during this phase. The first phase is research phase. They may add 2 to any combination of elements during the research phase. Normally you can do 1. They're allowed to do 2. So I think I'm going to do 3 on this one. And then I'll do a 2 on fire. All right. They're going to play air. Let's tuck these over here for a minute. We need this one. So we have 2 labor points. So they're going to play an air, go up to a 3. Not real good on what sides add up to each other on those. Earth will go up to a 4. I know this one because it's a D6. And then we have a leg up. So they're going to take an advantage card. Then we'll have the next card from the market costs 1 less to acquire. We have 2 of those. Oh, and I played one of those, so I actually spent more resources than I needed to. So let's just go back to this. So they can get a card for 2 discount. And I think what they're going to do is they will buy this one. That's 1, so that'll cost them 1. So that goes down to 3. That's 1 labor point. And then I think they're going to just up their fire to 3 for their last labor point. All right, everything they bought goes to the discard pile. Put it over here. These goals will go down here. This will be the discard pile. Draw pile. All right, so now I have my hand. Back to this player. Refill this. All right, so we got to upgrade a thing here. So I'm going to do fire. Maybe. No, I'm not going to do fire. We will do this one because this takes a lot. So we'll go up to this one on 4. Now we're going to play a fire. That'll take it to a 4. We have 2 labor points. We're going to play an earth. That will go to a 2. Then replace a card in the market. Let's get rid of a crucible because there's multiples of those. Then I get to draw another card. I don't have any cards, so I need to shuffle. So I draw a card. My draw deck goes here. So now I have 3 acquirers, which will let me buy a card for 3 less. And I think for my first action, I will do that. I will spend 2 of these because I get a 2 discount. And I get a 3 discount because I had 3 acquirers. So I'm going to take this vial. It'll go into this here. But it's an equipment. The first equipment Hester requires each turn may be put directly into play. So I get to put this into play. Now we can use it. All right, so I have 1 labor left. And I'm going to merge an element. I had a 4 fire. So what you're going to do is you're going to use all the fire. So what that means is you take the die off your board. That symbolizes that I have 0 fire now. Then I take this card. And it becomes a permanent that's in front of me that I can spend to achieve stuff. All right, so I'm going to draw 2 cards and gain 1 labor point. So I was down to 0, but now I'm back to 1. And I'm going to actually play this advantage card, which will take me to 0, and I'm going to use it for 2 labor points. So now I'm back to 2. I have a sabotage that I can't play right now. And then I have 2 labor points. So I think I want to use this action. I get to roll the fate die. And based on the number of the roll, that's what I get to do. So a 2 is add 2 to any non-AEther resource. So I'm going to bump this one up to a 4. All right. Now I still have 2 left. I will go 5 and 6 on this one. That's my 2. And I'm done. All right. So these stay out. They're permanents. The rest of them go in my discard pile, and I draw back up to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Done. Now back to this player. They get their 2 labor points. Their research, they get 2 points of research first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 points of research, and I think they're going to make this one into, they have to do different ones. So this one will be a 4. This one will be a 3. All right, now they're going to play. All right, so they have fire, which will go to a 4. They have water, which will go to a 4. And then they have outbid, which will replace a card in the market row. They're not super into people, or they're into people, so they want the equipment to go away. They have a leg up. They're going to acquire an advantage. And then acquirer, we have the card in the market costs 1 less. They're going to take the charlatan. This is going to take Aether from them, but they're going to buy it for 1 less. So they'll go down 1. If you run out of Aether, you die. So they'll go there, and you can't win the game. That refills. They have one of these left. And then they have one. They will bump this one up to 5. All right, done. Then they'll shuffle their cards because they got to draw up to 5. All right, then we got that. They'll draw up to 5. Back to me. I have my hand of 5. I get to upgrade, add an element. So for my research, I'm going to get some fire back. And I think I want to work on yellow. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to play a card. So that's going to give me one of these. Had the book. Now I'm going to use my fate. I rolled a 6. Gain a labor point. So now I'm up to 2 labor points. Okay. And then I'm going to play an air. That's a 3. And if at any point you play all 4 of your elements, you do a Eureka and you get 2 points instead of 1. I want to play a water. That hasn't happened. That's really hard to happen. Then I'm going to play 2 leg ups, and I'm going to take 2 advantage cards. I have 2 points left, so I am going to make this a 6. That's both of my points, and I am done. Now at the end of my turn, I get a refill up to 6 cards. Because I had the book. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, that's that. Then back to this player. They get to do the research up to 2. So they are going to do this one for 4. And they'll do this one to 5. Okay. Now they're going to play their turns, and they're going to play this one, which will give them earth up to 6. For one of their points of labor, they're going to turn this into perennial earth. Add 2 to each non-AEther resource. So that one's full up. This is a 2. This is a 6 now. If I can find it. This is a 7. All right, did that. That feels good. Then I have a leg up. We're going to take a sabotage. A leg up. I'll take an advantage. Acquire. I have 2 acquirers, so the next card I buy costs 2 less. I'll actually just take this furnace. Ooh. Yeah, I'll take the furnace. That'll be my last action. Done. All right. And they would refill back to 5. And that's how the game's going to keep going. You're going to keep playing like this until eventually somebody has enough stuff to do one of these. So let's go ahead and I want to show you that. That's what I'm kind of working to. So I'll go ahead and show you that. All right. So on my turn, I'll do my start just at the beginning. So I get to bump up one of these. I'll take this one to a 4. And then I get to play my turn. All right. So I'm going to play a water. So water will go to 8. Then I have my 2 labor points. I'm going to use my vial. I roll the die. Got a 5. I get an extra labor point, so now I have 3. And I'm going to play an advantage. And that advantage is going to cost me a labor point, but I'm going to gain 2, so I go down to 2. Now I'm up to 4. All right. And now I'm going to play another one, so that takes me down to 3. I go up to 5. All right, I'm not going to play this. I'm going to acquire another advantage. And then I have an outbid. I'm going to replace a card. So I'll get rid of this one with a new one. All right. And I get to draw a card for that one. And I have an acquirer. So the cards cost 1 less. All right. So cards cost 1 less. Let's keep this one out there so I remember. Okay. So now what I want to do is for one of my actions, one of my labor points, I'm going to get rid of this. And I'm going to get a perennial earth. Going to add 2 to each of my non-AEther resources. So this is a 3. This is a 2. This is a 6. Now this one's full up. All right, that works. Then I'm going to cash this one in for a blue. And blue will, which is recurrent water, Acquire up to 3 cards from the market without paying their cost. So I will take a Crucible, and the first time I get equipment, this can come into play under her, so I'll do that. I'll take this and this. They'll go into my discard pile. And then that's 2. Where's 4? All right. Now I have 4 actions left, so I would like to get that. I need 2, so I'm going to spend 2, take this to an 8. I'm going to spend 1 and turn this one into Subsisting Air. Then I get to add 2 cards from the rival, which is the player, from this rival's used pile to their hand. So I get to take 2 of these cards and add them to my hand. And I think I will do a water in that. So let's do that. So I'm going to play this advantage. That'll take me down to 0, then back up to 2. It gives me 2 labor. Then I will play a water. It doesn't take any labor to play those cards, so that'll give me 1 water. And then for one of my labor points, I'm going to merge to an achievement. Now I want to show you how that works because there's some additional stuff that happens there. So let's go ahead and do it. I'm going to do this one, the Philosopher's Stone. So first thing, it's going to cost me 3 Aether. So I'm down to 9 Aether. Then it's going to cost all of these cards. All right. So I have to spend 1 of each of these cards. I have all 4 cards. There we go. So they go back to their appropriate pile. Then I take this. It's based up in front of me. It's not a permanent. It's part of me now. It like merges in with me. So it just gives me a special ability at the bottom down there. Then what happens is, at that point, reset all of their non-Aether resource dice to a value of 1. So all my other dice go down to a 1. I did a lot of magic. Everything else goes to a 1. All right, so I'm at a 1. Then return any remaining element cards, their respective stacks. I did that. Move any other permanents which they control to their used pile. So all of these will go to my used pile. And then that's it. So you basically wipe yourself out a little bit when you do that. But that's how you get a lot of points, and that's how you're going to meet your goals. So I have 1 of these left, and I think I'm going to go ahead and buy a furnace for 1, and I'll use my fire for it because I get 1 discount. That's my last point. Then I'll go to my discard pile, and I'll draw up to 5, and that's it. So basically, I'm trying to do what's on these cards. So I have 1 achievement, so that's good. I should have been counting when I was getting rid of cards here with my whatever it is. What is the card? The outbid. I would want to be counting that on this die here, and if I got to 25, I would know that I've met that goal because I need 1 more achievement and I would be there. When you're halfway to one of these achievements, you're supposed to flip them face up so people know what you're working on. So if I would have had another achievement, I'd flip this up because I would be halfway there to completing this. And that's it. The first player who completes 1 of their goals will trigger the end of the game. Everybody gets an equal amount of turns. If both players or all players complete their goal, you're going to do a tiebreaker, who has the most Aether, most water, all that kind of thing. And whoever has the most of all that is the winner. And that is how you play Transcendent. Let's go to the top, see what we think about it.
What do you think, son? What do you think?
All right, well, that was Transcendent. So let's talk about the components. I'm not sure if this is a prototype 100%, but it comes with piles of dice, enough for all the player boards to have the appropriate kind of dice that I showed you in the overview. It comes with some of these trackers as well. Instead of using the purple ones that I had out that I never used, you can use these ivory ones. There's some additional dice in here too. I think just because they may have run out of some other ones, but yeah, whole piles of dice, which is cool. Oh, almost dropped it. Then we're going to have 6 different abilities that you can be. They're all going to have a special ability. 6 different people with special abilities, different starting setups for their dice and all that kind of thing. So you can play a different person every single time. The abilities, I don't think they change the game a ton, but it is nice to just have a little bit different direction every time you play. A whole pile of element cards. The cards are real nice. They're not like limited finish or anything, but they're good quality cards. The art and graphic design is nice. like getting the achievements. Really easy to see what those do there. The art on the market cards I really like. You can see the old school like equipment, some of the allies that can come out into play. Real cool. I like all that art. I like this black and white here on these starting cards too. I don't know if that's always going to be black and white, but I like the art there. Simple, tells you what's going on. I like all that. I like all the production of, basically, I'm not a huge fan of this dice thing here, the resource tracker thing. I get it. You're just spinning dice down like Magic the Gathering-esque. I get it. I just don't like that. I'd rather have like a track to move stuff up and down. Not a big deal. It's not going to like, ruin the game for me or anything. I don't necessarily love it. But yeah, that's cool. Even on the back of this, your turn order card, it gives you a breakdown of what all the icons do, how many of each cards are in the market, and all that kind of thing, which is pretty nice if you want to look that up. There's a whole pile of goals as well. I only showed you some green ones, but there's green, which are easy. There's yellow, which is medium difficulty, and there's red, which is difficult. So depending on how you want to play, you can just mix them together and go from that, or you could draw 4 and draft a couple. It says just deal out 2, but you could do that basically however you wanted to have the game how you like it. Components are good. Again, if it's a prototype, they're really good for a prototype. If it's not, they're still pretty good. I'm assuming it's a prototype because if you look at one of these boards, it has a paste up over the ability. So I'm assuming this is a prototype. But either way, good components. Now let's talk about the gameplay. So this is a deck builder. Deck builders have been around for a long time now. Dominion came out, Notre Dame, all those games have been doing it. There's so many deck builders now. Ascension and Dominion are the big ones. There's Arctic Adventures, so many that I can't even think of. Star Realms, Hero Realms. But those are all games where you're going to have crappy starting decks of 10, 12 cards, whatever. Clank does this. And you're going to, throughout the course of the game, be getting better cards to get into your deck, shuffling it up, and hopefully get those cards out to play them, to have better abilities, better stuff to do on your turn. This one's interesting because you're not only trying to use cards, you're also trying to manipulate these resources down here so you can merge them into these big elements, so you can merge them into these achievements. So the whole goal of this game basically is level up your resources, merge your resources into better resources to merge them into achievements that's merged into you to help you try to achieve your goals. That's it. The rest of it functions kind of similarly. The 2 labor points is interesting. You can play as many starting cards as you want on your turn. You can take advantage of any of the actions that you have that top icon on them out in front of you. Those don't take labor points. But the 5 actions that do take labor points, you're limited to what you do based on how many labor points you have. So it's interesting that some are free, some cost. There's probably some balancing issues there. I'm not good with designing games, so they probably did that for a reason, I'm sure. But I like the labor point restrictions. I like restrictions in games. It helps me make the best of everything that I do. This is a really fun game. I like it. Again, I don't love the dice spinning. I just don't like spinning dice. If I'm going to have a die, I want to roll it, which is where the fate die comes in. I love that because it's a little push your luck, and I like that. So, solid game. I think it's going to be hitting Kickstarter here pretty soon. I'll put I thought I had a sheet, but I'll put the date at the bottom of the screen here, just so you know if you're interested where you can find it. And I'll also put a link to it in the video description, so when it goes live, you'll be able to find it. So I'm not going to give this an accept the seal because this is effectively kind of a preview, but if it wasn't a preview, it'd probably get one. So there's a little semi yes accept the seal, but not officially. So that is Transcendent from Flying L Games. I'm Jason with the Boardgame Mechanics, and as always, keep gaming.